Hey, this is Donnie Vaughn of the Marketing Twins. If you have any questions about this tutorial or any part of the website, you can contact us at idoc@marketingtwins.com. That's IDOC@marketingtwins.com. Okay, this particular video tutorial I'm going to focus on will be about the forms. Now, right now you have, I believe, two forms that are the primary ones. Let me see what you've got here. Okay, we've got two primary forms on the site, that being the request for an appointment or the contact. I'll show you each of those. Here's the contact page form. So if somebody wants to submit a question or comment, they can do that here. Or if they want to request an appointment, they can do that here. Okay. Now, what we want to do is let's look at the contact page. Now, let's say that on this particular page. Now, if you're wanting to update, for instance, this information here or anything along those, this is all part of the text that's on the page. The information that's on the form, this is what if you wanted to change this. Let's say you wanted to add their address to this. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but let's say you wanted to do that. We go over here to the dashboard to the forms, and you click on Edit Forms. And it shows you the three forms that you have up there. Now, two of these that you've got is complete the form and fill out the form. These are ones that you probably won't have to use a lot because they're tied to some ads that we placed in the Yellow Pages, the area-wide directory, and the AT&T page. Okay. The two other forms that you see here, the submit your appointment request and the contact, are the ones that we're going to focus our attention on now. So here's the contact form. If you clicked on this, you can see all the different options there. All you'd want to do is just click on it, or you can click Edit. Either one does the same thing. Now, this is a fairly simple process to use, but it's a matter of knowing exactly how to use it. Each of these little things are little boxes into themselves. You can simply build the form based on what you want. This contact information here, where it says this form is to be used to submit questions, you can see that's all that right there. So the form kind of begins right here. All this like us on Facebook, that's the text that's on the page, but the form information really starts here. Right below that, you have your name. This one is broken out into first and last name that you see here. And then you have your phone and your email. Now, we have made these where these are required, but you know, we could, if we wanted to, say let's take the phone and make it not required. So we would go in there and hit Edit, and it drops down a few things. And down here, I simply uncheck that, close that, update my form over here on the right side. And now that it's updated, I can go in and refresh my browser, and that little red icon goes away. Now, I'll go ahead and put that back because I think there was a reason we wanted that to be required. But if that's something you want to do, you could change that there. Not one of the downsides that people do is they require everything on a form. And think about when you go to websites and you have to enter form information. Most of the time you want to enter as little as you can to get to where you're trying to go. And that's the same thing you need to think about on this. Is don't necessarily require them to fill out the information if you're not going to use it. For instance, on a contact form, we didn't ask for their address and their city and because we really didn't need to know that. We'll get that information from them when they come into the office and fill out paperwork then. So don't ask for everything just because you think you have to or you can. You may not want to ask for it all here. But let me show you how you add something here. This utilizes these standard fields, and then there's some advanced fields. Some of these you'll never use. and some you will. But let's talk about the standard fields. You can do address in a couple different ways. You can say, I'm going to do a single text, and it just creates a little box, and then you can customize it. For instance, we do that. We click it. Now it adds it at the bottom. I can click edit, and I can say address. I can make it required. I can close it. I can update the form. And then when I refresh my browser, you'll see that it's left there. Obviously, that's not where you'd want it. So what you would want to do is actually, before updating the form, is if you'll notice that when I hover over these, they kind of turn blue. That means you're working on the particular box. I could take this, and if I click on it, close that off like that. Okay. Right here on the top, I can click and see all those 4 arrows that are where my cursor is. I can move that. It's like a drag and drop kind of feel. So I can put that right there, update the form, go to refresh my browser, and now below they've added the address field. Now that's one way of adding address. The other way is what they call an advanced field, where they've already put some things in there. They've already got one that says address. So that's the simplest way to do it. But you notice that it asks for a variety of information here, and they put it in a format. Move that now. Let me see. Kind of have to get it where it's just right. There we go. See, if we want it right below that other address one. By the way, when you're doing this, I don't know if I can edit that, what that does. Some of this we don't necessarily, we can hide some things, and you can play around with that. But if I ever wanted to, I could preview. Now, I like to preview. I'm going to right-click on mine and preview it in a new tab. This is what it's going to look like. Except, you know what? I forgot. I have to close that. Update the form. And then I can preview it. Now, I can just preview it here just as easy. So, all right. So when we do this, it puts in all that pre-populated with address and address to and city, state, and zip and all that kind of stuff. So you can either use their pre-existing advanced field called address, or you could use a standard field, which is just a single line of text, and create your own address button. So if you didn't want to mess with see how long these address things are, you just create your own one that has type the word address in there. It works either way. There's no magic to it. It's just a couple different ways of doing the form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate those because we don't want those in there. Oh, then while we're thinking about it, let's say you wanted to have address and then address to. You can simply duplicate. I just click duplicate. Notice that right here there's 1 and there's 2. I could go in here and put address to. So if somebody has like a PO box or something to that effect, I can go over here and refresh my browser. And when I see that, now you have address to below that. So it's real easy to duplicate. That's real helpful is if you're adding a particular field that you want them to fill out and you want it to be exactly the same look. It's just you want the title of the field to be different. You just duplicate it instead of having to go over here and click that. You just duplicate it all the way down the page. So that's just a couple things to think about. You can select different radio buttons, what they call radio buttons. Go down here where you can do first choice, second choice. We did that on one of the other forms. I think it was the appointment page. Let's go to the appointment. There we go. Yeah, see the radio button? That's how we did that. So if you wanted to add a radio button, you could also use a drop-down tool. So you have a drop-down option. Notice that the first, your first choice, second choice, third choice, etc. So that's something to do. So different things. Some of these you'll never play with, but feel free to play around with the forms just when you're done, just to update the form down here in the lower right so that it saves all your changes. And that's simply how you update. Again, it's pretty easy to drag and drop different things. If you run into any problems, certainly give us a call, or send us an email, and you can send that email to idoc@marketingtwins.com, and we'll be glad to help you with the website issue that you might be experiencing. Thanks a lot.